Okay guys, we're going to do a little demo here on this shrinking and stretching that I talked about for installing these rear window Dzus rails. This is going to start out, when you get these, they're going to look like this. They're going to be straight. Like I explained, they got a little break on this edge here, which is where we're going to weld it to the body at. And obviously though, they're not going to fit straight. So depending on what body style it is, the sides and the top of the back window will have a little less curve, but the bottom always has quite a bit more, something like this. So to obtain this, we need to metal work this rail just a little bit. You can do this by hand, but it's a little harder to do. This isn't very thick, but we've got a little shrinker stretcher tool here that really comes in handy. You can pick these up online, but they're very nice to have if you're manipulating a little bit of metal shape. So basically what a shrinker and stretcher does, there's 4 blocks in there, and they're knurled, they're cut so that they bite the metal. And a stretcher is going to, when you move this handle, it's going to mechanically take those blocks, and the stretcher is going to come down and bite and then separate, and bite and separate, top and bottom. So we're going to get these fine little like file teeth marks in the metal. But that's what's going to do. It's going to bite it, and then the top and bottom are going to just slightly push it apart. So I got our boy Dylan here from the shop. He's one of the fabricators that puts this stuff together. So he's going to do a little demo on this. So we have a stretcher on this side and a shrinker on this side. The shrinker is going to push the metal together, and the stretcher is going to pull it apart. So if you take any type of a formed metal, like if you shrink the front edge and stretch the back edge, you're going to get a curve. Okay, now Dylan's already done this, and this is going to fit in this bottom corner, because this body's going to have an extreme hard turn at the back here to get back around to the sides. Now the sides are somewhat straight, but they're not straight. They're going to have a slight little bit of curve to it. So basically what you do with this is you just put it in the stretcher here on the back edge, and then you're just gonna work it like this, and you're gonna stretch the back edge, and then you're gonna flip over to this side, and you're gonna shrink the front edge, and then that will start that turn. And you don't have to get it exact, it's just got to be close, and then as you're tacking it in, you can manipulate it a little more, because once it gets along the body and we start putting some tacks on here, that's when it's going to really take its shape. And again, like I explained, you know, when you start this, you want to lay out your weld spacing before you get too far into this, so that when you're tacking it, you have the tacks at the end, and the start and the end of each weld. So our common is a 1-inch weld, and then skip 2 inches, and then 1-inch weld. So you're going to want to start from the center of the back window, mark your center at the top and the bottom, and then work your way out, and then work it in around so that it is even, so that the welds aren't staggered or overlapping, that they go evenly around the back window. You just use a black Sharpie on here and put a little tick on this, and then as you go down through there, when you're ready to tack, you can just zip that corner in there and hold it in place. And you can use a scrap piece of Lexan polycarbonate, just an 1/8-inch piece to use for a spacer here, because that's about what your back window will be. And you can hold that down below the surface of the body. And it's always kind of a common mistake to get it too far up because you want to try to flush it out, but the body on the edge where you're going to put this, it actually has a slight radius to it. So it's going to turn out better if you drop that polycarbonate material down just a little bit, because it's not going to fit dead flat when you're done, okay? Because you got other things that are going to be adding to that. So once we put this in place, we've obviously got, you're going to put some pop rivets in here, so you'll have a little bit of head thickness there. Now you can put a flat head rivet in here, so you can countersink this just a little bit and keep it flush. There's going to be paint on this, there's going to be paint on the window, there's going to be some things that add some thickness to it. And the window itself isn't going to be perfect, so it's not going to lay dead flat. You know, they never do. They always have a little bit of a shape to them, so they don't lay perfectly flat in there. So if you hold that down just a little bit past that radius, it will look better in the end. It won't. It's If you get it too high, it looks really bad because then you can see the cut edge of the Lexan. You don't want to be able to see that in there. It's better to hold it down just a little bit and tuck it behind that that slight radius on the body there. So this stuff's real easy to work with. It's really easy if you have these two tools, and they're not expensive to buy. And once you get a set and you practice with some scrap material, you will master this easy, because this is very narrow here, so it's really easy to bend. Like I said, you can almost do it by hand, but a little bit of help here shrinking this edge and stretching this makes it super easy, because it just doesn't take hardly any pressure at all to put a curve in this. Now this bottom corner takes a little bit more work. There's a lot of curve here, and then out here it's a lot more slight, but this is going to take some manipulation, and then when you get it in there, you're going to finish it off by hand, getting these at the right angle, getting this rolled around the right angle, because it's not going to go in there flat. It's actually going to curve and go up at the same time. So real easy to do. You just have to take a little time, spend some time with this equipment. So Dylan can he's been working on this piece, and he can show you a couple little techniques here on how to do that, and you'll be off to the races. So if you have any questions, give us a call, and then kind of watch what he's doing, pick it up for yourself. It's real easy. You don't have to put much pressure on this. I mean, it's got a little bit of leverage here, so you just slightly go. It's always easy to do a little less than to overdo it and then have to take some out, because it's better to work your way into that curve than to get too much stretch in there, then have to try to pull that back out. Because when you're stretching is easy, shrinking is hard, because the shrink side of it, you're trying to take the metal and you're trying to force it together, which is really tough. So it's less, you get more action out of a stretch side than you do out of a shrink side. So the stretch side, you're taking the metal and you're just pulling it apart and thinning it out and making it make that curve. But the shrink side is trying to jam it together. So your stretch side will give you more results than your shrink side will. This is a little bit thicker material than these are designed for thinner sheet metal. So it's a little bit thicker, but it is totally adequate for this. You just have to push it in there, and as you're sliding it doesn't slide as easy. Like if you were using some 030 or like an aluminum angle or anything like that would be 035 to 025, it's going to fit in there real easy. This is a little bit thicker than that. So give it a shot, and if you have any questions, you can call us and we will help you out.